I'm getting a lot of great questions about intermittent fasting, and I really need to break these down into multiple videos. One of the first topics is about intermittent fasting and growing muscle. So I had a good question from somebody who asked if it's ideal to be intermittently fasting if one of their goals is to grow muscle. And the answer is, it depends. It depends on how high on your list growing muscle sits. Let me explain. When you intermittently fast, of course, you go extended periods without calories, including protein. But we know that there's multiple factors to consider when trying to grow muscle. Yes, one factor is your total daily protein consumption. So in a perfect world, even if you're intermittently fasting, you can squeeze enough protein into a very small feeding window every day. However, there's other factors that grow into maximizing hypertrophy. One of them is how long the post-feeding response lasts with regards to muscle protein synthesis. It only lasts a couple of hours. So in a perfect world, we would be doing everything we possibly can to grow muscle if that was our number one goal. Thing one, adequate total daily protein consumption is king. But there's other things to think about, like frequent high protein feeds, around 3, maybe 4 a day, because we know the response only lasts a couple of hours. Can you still grow muscle while fasting? Yeah, you probably can if you're strength training regularly and your protein consumption's high. But if you really wanted to squeeze the last few drops out of the dish rag, you would also add frequent high protein meals to your day. And there's multiple studies that have looked at this. One was published in 2016 in Nutrients, which is a great journal. And they, again, similar to previous papers, demonstrated that the post-meal response really does only last a couple of hours. So for a few hours, you're experiencing a net gain of muscle protein synthesis, and then we go into more muscle protein breakdown. And a lot of that, they showed, again, that it happens during sleep, which is a fast. So not surprisingly, the recommendation of this paper and others has been not only frequent protein consumption, but your highest dose of protein to be before bed at the end of the day, before you go to bed, to try to prolong muscle protein synthesis into the night. So the take-home message is, yeah, you can grow muscle if you want to intermittent fast, but make sure that your strength training is tight, your protein consumption is high, and that you're keeping that consistent every day. If you really want to maximize muscle growth though, you do want to also think about frequent high protein feeds because the response simply doesn't last long enough to maximize hypertrophy. So I hope that helps. Choose the feeding pattern that makes you happy, including if it's intermittent fasting. But if your number one goal is to grow muscle, you may want to consider adding more frequent, higher protein meals 3 or 4 times throughout your day. We'll see you next time.